And in this video, we want to talk more about methods. So we want to talk more about how we can adequately work with methods inside of our class. This is fairly simple. In the previous tutorials, we have defined what a method is. As a form of recap, let's remind ourselves, methods are the functions that we create within a class. So we want to consider a few more facts, like the fact that we have a special variable that we use to access class properties from within a method. Now we call this variable this, as you can see on the screen right now. And one other fact we want to consider is we have some special methods, also known as reserved methods. These methods begin with 2 underscores. You've already seen 2 examples, like the constructor and destructor methods, and that is fair enough. So let us see our methods in action. Right now I want to create one method, and what this method will do is pretty simple. All it does is output the value of a particular property within the class. So I want to first of all create a property, so I'm going to say public, and then actually create a property, my best food. So I want to ensure I spell that correctly. Fair enough. So this is the only property I'm creating. So I want to create a method. So I'll create my method, start with function, and name the method get best food. Fair enough. This doesn't look right, so I have to correct this. And then my parenthesis, and then my curly bracket. In between here, I'll just specify the actions I want my method to carry out. Very simple. I simply want this method to return what? I want this method to return this. Take note of this. And then we have our pointing to, made up of our hyphen and greater than. Then I call my property my best food. I do not want to forget the underscores in between. So I'm returning this pointing to my best food property. That's all I want this method to do for me. So wherever is entered into this property, I want this method to return it for me. And how was I able to successfully do that? With the help of this wonderful variable, this. Then we have our hyphen and greater than, and then the property name itself. So this is what gives us access to this property. Without this, we won't be able to access this property. So now let us actually make use of this method. So what are we going to do right now? We've already created an instance of the class. So next up, I would like to assign my property a value. I'm sure you guys still remember the way we do that. So I'll just say use class, followed by my hyphen and greater than. Then we call the name of the property, which in this case is my best food. And after which we're going to say equal to, and then we'll assign it a value. I'll just stick with rice, trying to make this as simple as possible. So finally, I want to call the method. I guess you still remember how to do that. We say use underscore class, pointing to our method. What is the name of our method? Get best food. Fair enough. Don't forget the parenthesis and our wonderful end of statement. I guess our code looks good, so at this point I'll just save this and refresh this, and you will notice that nothing happens, and that is because we asked this method to return. Remember, when you ask a function or method to return, it will simply return the value. You will then be the one to manipulate the value as you desire. So at this point, I want this result to be echoed to the screen. So once we add the echo and we save this and we refresh this, we can see rice. I could just come here and add a little message here. Just say my best food is, add a space, then come here and concatenate it with this and correctly spell this, then save this and then refresh this. You can see it says my best food is rice. So this is how easy it is to use the this variable to gain access to a properties value within a class. So I guess that is fair and simple enough. And so right now we are moving on to greater heights, static methods. So you might be wondering, what is this one this time around? Static what? This is fairly simple. All you just need to do is understand the format for the static method, and it is as simple as this. So all you need to do is say static. You precede the declaration of the method with static, followed by, as usual, function, and then the name of the method. Within the parentheses, you can specify some arguments, if any, and then the actions to be performed by the method. Fair enough, it is as simple and easy as that. But that's not all. You will also need to learn how to access a static method, as we don't do it the usual way. And it is as simple as this. All you simply do is say your class name, followed by double colons, and then your method name. And that is all. You have called or accessed your static method. For you to do this, all you need to do is call your class name. You don't do this through the object. So one thing you should also take note of is that this double colon you're seeing here is known as scope resolution operator. So for us to fully understand this, I would like to create a very simple program here. I want to create a static method that will simply output I am a static method. Very honest method. All we need to do is say static, then we say function, and then you give your method a name. So I'll simply name this method say. Now you introduce your parenthesis. If you care to put any argument, no problem. I'll leave that empty for now. And then the curly bracket follows. In between, I will just echo something simple. Like I said, I want to echo I am a static method. Fair enough and easy peasy. So this is how easy it is to create a static method. Very, very simple. Now what follows next is to call the method. You remember I would do it to say the class name. What is the name of this class? Test. So we say test. Test will be followed by double colons. You remember the other name, eh? Scope resolution operator. And then this will be followed by the name of the method. The name of this method is say. Now don't forget your parentheses and the end of statement. Very simple. You notice that we did not have to create any object. You notice we just said class name, the scope resolution operator, and then the method name. That's all. So when we save this and we refresh this, what are you expecting? Exactly what's on your mind. I am a static method. Very, very simple. You guys have to just learn to wrap your minds around these concepts, because as time goes on, you'll have to pick up these bits and pieces and form a whole out of it. So we are still moving on to greater heights with object-oriented programming in PHP. And I am waiting for you in the very next video.